Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odessa, and we are starting for today. And I'd like to make a short announcement. In half an hour, we'll have with us Natalia Hominuk to discuss the results of the night attack in the Odessa region. You can join us online or offline at the Media Center, Ukraine, Odessa. And our current topic is preparedness of Odessa region for the heating season. Our speaker is Volodymyr Karpych, Deputy Director of the Odessa Regional Department of Life Support Systems and Energy Efficiency. Good afternoon, Mr. Karpych. 2 weeks ago, we discussed the topic with you, and back then you claimed that Odessa was ready for 94%. And as far as I understand, now we're ready for 100%. The readiness is 100%. As of 11th of October, 1,315 boiler houses, 1,908 kilometers of thermal networks, 248 water supply facilities, 8,876 apartment buildings, 489 kindergartens, 623 educational institutions, 399 healthcare institutions have been prepared. Around 48,000 tons of the special materials have been prepared, and there are no problematic issues regarding the technical preparation of housing and communal facilities in the social sphere. The heating season in the Odessa region usually begins on the 1st of November, but we also take into consideration weather conditions, and average daily values should be below 8 degrees for 3 days in a row, so they might be small changes. And so we have prepared the emergency equipment, materials and devices for the emergency repairs at the heat supplies facilities. We have developed the crisis plan for providing vital services. Inventory has been conducted in the region as for generators at vital infrastructure and social sphere facilities. It was identified that when it comes to ensuring the autonomy of vital facilities of centralized heating and water supply, consists of facilities of centralized water supply, 86%, boiler houses of centralized heat supply, 97%. By the beginning of the heating season, we are planning to increase this indicator by 100%. As for hospitals, 99%. And I believe that these are rather good numbers, so we can say that we are ready. So you've mentioned that the generator supply is not 100% for hospitals, schools, and kindergartens. How much time do you need to ensure 100% supply of generators to the socially vital facilities? I think that by the 1st of November we'll be 100% ready. So in 2-3 weeks we should be ready. Who provides these generators? Odessa Regional Military Administration at the expense of the self-governance bodies and international organizations and donors. Thank you. Dear colleagues, do you have any questions? Olga Donska. My Ukraina TV channel, I have several questions. It is no secret that Russians plan continue their attack on Ukrainian regions. Do you have the reserves of materials for emergency repairs? And if yes, what have been bought? We have enough materials. We have spare transformers, equipment, but you need to understand that we also need time. Because this is complicated equipment, and you cannot just connect a transformer or some other type of equipment that we need. This is the question of time. And we believe that we will not be able to quickly repair damaged infrastructure. So we have supplies, but repairs need time. How long can the Odessa region be autonomous if needed? All the time. We can remember this blackout from the last season. It was around 2 days, but Odessa survived, and that was a test for us. So Odessa could be autonomous as long as needed. We understand everything, and we are getting ready. Because sometimes some cities say that they have fuel for 3 days for generators, and others provide some other numbers. And we have the stock needed for every enterprise for 5 days. It is dangerous to keep it longer, or they are an option for vouchers and for the fuel stations. And the fuel stations, I think, will be ready to provide these supplies on the emergency basis. 5 days is a minimum, but we will see how it will be. And one more question. The question about water supply facilities, do they have generators? And if yes, what is the percentage of preparedness? 86%. Main nodes of water supply have been equipped with generators. And we also consider alternatives in cases where generators are too big to be installed, but we are ready to use other emergency means in case of need. It is impossible to install a 20-kilowatt generators at several points, so we will look for alternatives for water supply, and we are getting ready to such situations as well. And the last question. Some regions have provided information that they have considered the possibility to build sarcophags over critical infrastructure facilities. Do we have such solutions in Odessa? And if no, why have not we opted for that solution? No, we have not refused from that. But we understand that when it comes to, for example, ballistic missiles, sarcophags cannot protect all infrastructure. And technologically, it is impossible to cover the whole power supply chain with a sarcophag. And I'm not sure that it's efficient. We cannot protect critical infrastructure facilities for 100% if the infrastructure facilities are hit by missiles. The question is, do we have such sarcophags in Odessa? Yes, we have one. It's under construction. And are there any additional measures for the protection of critical infrastructure facilities? What do you mean by additional? We use big bags, and we continue improving these safety measures, and we try to introduce additional measures. So this is the work that should be done on a continuous basis. But unfortunately, when there is a direct strike, it is problematic to protect anything for 100%. Thank you, Mikhailo. I have a question. Last year, one of the targets of the Russia's attack was thermal power supply plant. And several years ago, it was already discussed to generate energy, to generate power at that plant. Will it be used for producing power? Yes, Odessa thermal power supply station was used during blackout. And if you remember, there was blackout all over Odessa, but the central part and the nearby houses were connected to this thermal power supply plant that fed them. That is not a big capacity like 12 megawatts, and now we use 700 in the Odesa region, but that was enough for the central part of Odesa and some of the houses nearby. But you see there is a big difference between 12 and 700 when it comes to capacity. Do you know what queues will be introduced for outages this year? They're already there. They have been approved, but we understand that they will depend on the level of damages and on the level of need. So they are there. They can be changed. But when people say that there would be outages because the schedules are there, and but this is not the true, because we will just switch off only in case there are damages, depending on the need. Last year, one of the most challenging issue was the fact when there were houses without outages because they were connected to critical infrastructure facilities. And there were rumors about bribes. Have you done anything to decrease the number of such cases and to ensure fair access to powers? Yes, this is the task of DTEC. And you can see that there are outages now. This means that the networks are changing. And so you've mentioned bribes, and if there is a big boiler room providing heat to the whole of the district, and the other lines were connected, there were no outages there. So we are changing this scheme, and I know that this is with my house. But still, there will be some facilities connected. And the Director General of DTEC said to me that actually he lives in a house that experienced outages. We invited him to our press conference, but unfortunately he never came. But I think that he will come. I hope so too. And so you can just tell him about us. This is an open professional person, and I think that he will be glad to come here. You just need to invite him. We have invited him several times, but he keeps refusing. You mentioned that there is a program according to which condominiums can get generators free of charge. How many generators have been provided in the framework of the mentioned program? The work is still ongoing because it depends on the bureaucracy of international organizations that have promised to provide these generators. But it has been agreed that the applications that we have received from condominiums will be processed by the end of October by the international organization involved in the process, and then it will make field visits at the places that have submitted such application, and generators will be provided accordingly. And this should be completed by November. But everything here depends on international organizations involved in the process. Our task is only to create lists according to the applications and the submission of such lists to international organizations. How many applications have been submitted? Around 70. Many people, unfortunately, don't understand how to do it. And we just have an awareness-raising campaign, but on an individual basis. And it is very important to understand what issues should be covered by such generators, and I have already shared this information. In some places of Ukraine, there are mobile, modular boiler rooms. I think in Lviv they have around 6 of such facilities that could be used by several social facilities. Yes, we also have supply of, if I'm not mistaken, 5 boilers, modular boilers. Their capacity is not that big to cover big spaces, but they can be of hand for several houses or other institutions. But the same is about transformers. We need time to install. We need additional equipment. So we are all also getting ready to such situations, but we hope that we will be able to do without this. Did you use such modular boiler rooms last year? No, thanks God, we were able to do without them. But did you have them last year? Yes, they were bought in summer 2022, and they are in the Odesa region, just in case. Thank you. Are there any other questions from the floor? There are no questions. Thank you, Volodymyr, for being with us today. And we will look at the situation on the 1st of November in terms of preparedness of the Odesa region to the heating system. And I think that we will not be able to avoid criticism. Criticism is always good. We are not afraid of this. Thank you for being with us in Media Center. And I'd like to remind that just in 10 minutes we will have with us Natalia Gumenyuk to discuss the consequences of the overnight attack on Odesa region. Thank you.